to be a creator, to be a producer instead of one who's actually working. And we tend not to do that. And I'm thinking, I remember when I was in, I want to say middle school, and we had a laundromat. And I would, like, Saturdays have to go there. Well, after school I'd go, because that's where we went after school, to my mom, over to my mom where she was. And then on the weekends, we'd have to be down there with her. But as a girl, trying to make my money, I couldn't go to, like, Key Food or A&P or Pathmark or whatever, because that was considered a boys' activity. So as a girl, we could babysit, we could do hair, or what I chose to do was take my little allowance money, and then I would go to the wholesale place and buy candy. And I'd, in the laundromat, turn around and sell that candy. So we didn't have vending machines in the laundromat back then. Right. So I had a shelf, and I would turn that into, and so there would be Snickers and Skittles and little penny candies and all of that. And so people would come, either the kids would come, like, from outside playing. They knew I was in there selling candy, and that was my little business. Right. It carried me for a while. And even when I stopped, when I left home, my mother continued that business on, and then it grew from, I think, I started with maybe like $30-$40 worth of product each week. Right. And before you know it, I'm buying like $200 and something worth of product. And so she continued, and that was her little side money as well. Right. So yeah, I think we should be encouraging our kids in whatever ways possible to own, to be producers, right. to be the HNIC, so to speak, instead of encouraging them to grow up and, as soon as you get out of school, you're going to get a great job at the factory, and everything's going to be hunky-dory, you're going to get a car, you're going to meet a girl, you're going to get married and have babies, and then, no. Encourage ownership, encourage more, encourage better, encourage all of that and then some, so. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a really good thing for us to encourage our kids them to do for themselves, because when we were growing up and we sell our little stuff, then we usually go even pick mangoes and give. When our grandmother go to the market, she sell the mangoes for us. Our other people going to the market from the district where we're from, we would bring boxes of mangoes. Sometimes I have 2 boxes, depends on much mangoes you get. My brother, they have 2 boxes, my sister, and they'll bring it, and we'll get our little money when they come back from the market. And then our mom take us to the post office to open our little bank account at the post office in the district, and that's how we start saving our money. And that's why we have to, now we as parents, we have to encourage our kids them to do the same. They can do their little things, and as you say, with the lemonade stand and different stuff, the other people, the other colored people, then they do that. You see the kids them do it all the time out there doing it. Why not us? Why we can't do that too? I'm not scared to do anything. If I have collard greens, a lot of times I used to have a lot of collard greens back there, and people used to say, you should just take it out there and sell it. I'm not scared to sell it, but a lot of times I just give it to people. Right. Yeah. But if I have to go out there and sell it, I'll sell it too. Whatever it takes, you do it. You can do whatever to make some money and, have our own businesses, and that's how we grow.
And that's a thought for all the listeners that have, let's say, at least 1/4 acre yard space. Right. Turn that yard space into a garden. Plant a couple rows of greens, some sort of greens, some fruit somewhere, some veggie, just kind of spread it out a little bit. Right. And you can do one of 2 things. You can harvest the product and sell it. Right. And use that as seed money for some other major project that you want. Or you can just give that away. Yeah. That would be your donation to homeless people, or they don't have to be homeless. Right. If your neighbor down the end of the street, let's say the husband got killed or he died in some kind of way or whatever, and she's struggling by herself, even if she don't have any kids, but she was dependent upon his income. She doesn't have his income anymore, so she's struggling. Let them be your donation. Give her, a couple bunches of greens a week, or whatever it is.
They'll appreciate
all
it.
these people that have all this property, put it to use. Put it to use for the betterment of all of us.
Yes.
Will there be some people that are going to get over and they'll feel like, oh, well, I'm not going to, I have money, but I'm not going to buy any groceries because I know I can go down to BL's house and I can get me some free greens and some free cabbage. You know what? So what? What is it? It's greens. It's cabbage. It's food.
Exactly.
You know, that's all it is food.
Yeah.
So fine. You want to get over and get a couple heads of cabbage from me for free because I'm giving it away?
That's fine.
You know, you have to deal with that.
Yes.
That you did it, you know, with those ill intents. I have to deal with the fact that I grew it, I cultivated it, I harvested, and I gave it to you with good intent.
Right.
And so I'm going to sleep good, and I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to get all that I'm supposed to sow from reaping, you know, that I'm supposed to reap from sowing that. So just start using our stuff to
because if you have your yard next door, you have a big yard, I can come over there like in the morning. I say, okay, I'm gonna come over in the morning early, and we're gonna go out there in the garden, and we're gonna, you know, plant some stuff together. This is what is in season now. We're gonna plant this, so we, you know, in a couple months, 3-4 months, we're gonna have a lot of kale or whatever it may be, you know, and we do that, and then you come over and you help me in my garden, and then I have collard greens growing, or cabbage, or beans, or whatever it may be. You know, you have stuff growing, and we go to the next neighbor and we help them with their garden, and now we have all this stuff, and we can help, you know, giving other people, as well as we can sell it and make extra money. Or we can trade some collard greens for some other kind of cabbage or whatever it is, or kale or pumpkin or whatever, you know, plums or sugar cane or avocado, whatever it may be, and we share with each other. And we can, if we have so much of it, we can even sell some of it to buy more seeds, so we can put back more, to get more crop again, so we can able to give more. And even the older people that doesn't have much, we can go to their door, ring their doorbell, and just with a basket or whatever, you know, with whatever we have, and say, you know, I don't know if you can use this, whatever, you know. But we go around and try to help our neighbors around the area, and it's not, they don't have to be your next door neighbor. It's maybe way down the street there or wherever, across the lake or whatever. But once you're helping someone with what you're growing, it will be more blessing coming in that garden, you know. And I feel like we just have to more be hands in hands, helping each other and supporting each other and loving and respecting, you know, each other. And that's how we're really going to come together, because if we don't do that, we'll never come together.
And that gives a whole new meaning to community garden.
Right. Exactly.
Because traditionally, when we think of community garden, we think of one physical location where everyone comes to garden and put all their resources into that one location. But if you take a subdivision and you have maybe 10 residents spread throughout that subdivision, and they're all helping each other grow their gardens, and then if they're all focusing on different products, oh man, you got a grocery store right there inside your subdivision.
Yes.
You have a grocery store right there.
It's true. You don't have to worry about running to the store, say, oh, Saturday morning or Friday morning.
You need some green peppers? Oh, let me run down here to Sister Sue. Or Sister whatever her name is. Hey, here's $1. I need 2 green peppers. Instead of running all the way to Walmart. Or I need a bungle of greens. Do you have any greens over there? I just walk down here because I don't want to go to the store, and you're right here and it's fresh. Exactly.
You know, it's organic. It's no fertilizer, no nothing on it.
Right.
You know, and you know, it tastes so good. I bought it before and it was really good. Or you gave me some before and it was really good, and I want to really, you know, pay you for some this time. I just don't want to come all the time and get it for free. And you know, that's how we help each other.
Community gardens.
Yes.
Okay, y'all. So all listeners, we have to start community gardens.
Yes.
Take the space in your backyard.
Whoever have a backyard.
And just start growing stuff. Your neighbors within your subdivision or down the road, or you know, you may not be in a subdivision, wherever you are, whoever's near you.
Right.
And be strategic about some of the stuff that you're planting, so that you guys can sustain. You know, over the long haul, if you will. Someone's got the cabbage over here, and this one has the pumpkin over here, and this one has some more fruit in this
Right.
side, and more herbs over here, and just kind of mix it all up, if you will. And that's a whole new way of doing things. And you're not an official farmer,
Right.
so you don't necessarily have to go through all of the guidelines and regulations as a farmer.
Right.
You're just you're just gardening in your backyard. And when you barter, then you're not necessarily selling your product.
Right.
If someone gives you $1 because you allow them to go in your yard and grab whatever bell peppers or green peppers
Right.
they want, and they just make $1 donation,
Right.
that's what they're doing. You're not selling your product. So,
Right. Right.
That's some thoughts for y'all. That's some thoughts.
Yes.
I hope
yes.
they get it.
I hope
Put it out there.
I know, right? I know. Because so many of us have big backyards and not doing anything with it. But it takes sometimes somebody else to help and try to push the next person to help them, or say, I noticed you have a big backyard. I don't know if you need some help. We could start
Help
a
you
garden.
get started. Yes.
Even get it started for you. Here go some seeds or whatever, and we'll help you clean it up, and couple of the neighbors get together and say, well, we'll help clean it up, and and you kind of encouraging this person too, because once they see you do it, they say, oh wow, I didn't know this would look like this or whatever, and then this person start learning how to do the gardening now.
Exactly.
And then this person starts saying, well, they came over and helped me, so now I'm learning, so let's find the next neighbor to help out to do the same thing with their yard, because they haven't done nothing to their yard. That's how we need to work together, and it's so like I was telling Lance this morning, I think you were doing something else, but while I was outside in the yard doing the yard, and there was this African guy, one of us walked down to me, and he was talking to me, asking me, if I ever need somebody to cut the yard or whatever. He does that. He trimmed the trees and cut the yard and whatever, but it was two of them, but one came. So I said, okay. He said he'll get me a card and whatever. So I said to him, the big palm tree in the front, do you do that? Do you trim the palm tree? And he said, yeah, but let me go and ask the other guy, because he's the one that really does that. Right. I said, that's fine. So I'm finished doing what I'm doing. So I'm waiting, thinking he's gonna come back with the card, and he was just right there looking at me, both of them. And he went back there, and I'm thinking, I'm waiting for him to bring the card and tell me how much he's gonna charge me, to trim up the palm tree. But he didn't say anything. He didn't come back. So there was this white guy and his wife was driving down, and they stopped. I didn't know what he wanted, but anyway, he walked up to me and he said, oh, I do landscaping, and I trim.
The white guy also?
Yeah.
Okay.
He trimmed trees and all this stuff. I said, okay. But in my mind, I'm saying, I'm waiting on this guy, this African guy, I'm waiting on him to come back with the card and tell me. I'm still waiting, because I said, well, the white guy, do the same thing and whatever. Who do you believe?
They're working together?
No.
Oh.
Who do you believe those two African guys just get in their truck and they just drive and go up the other side of the street, never say anything? Nothing. I mean, nothing. So because I'm saying that they do the tree, I'm going to give them, I rather, give it to them, the business, whatever, and stuff like that. Well, anyway, he take his sweet time, jump in their truck, never say anything more. And the white guy doing his business as usual. And I said, that's what I was telling us. That's why a lot of us don't even get together, and we can't get through this, and we can't even have a business where we can all get together and things work for us. You understand? Now this guy came, gave me a card, go get his book, come and write down whatever I asked him. He told me, I said, how much will you try to trim the tree? And he told me. I said, okay. And then being as I see they're gone, but they're happy business, never give me the card, nothing. I said,
they
okay.
lose the business,
yes.
yeah.
And the guy told me how much he charged, and he'll haul away everything, and this is what he do and whatever. I said, okay. He come with his book, write down the appointment, everything and whatever. I said, okay. I said, this is what I don't understand. I don't get it. And this is not the first time.
Mm-hmm.
One day me and Lance was out there and something happened to the lawnmower. We have to take it to the shop to get it serviced. So we wanted to get the yard. It was a weekend. We wanted to get the yard cleaned up. So there was one of us over next door cutting the yard, and Lance said to go talk to him and ask him, you know, if he could cut the yard for us because we had to take the lawnmower to the shop. He was just hiffing and butting and iffing. What is there to hiff and butt about when you're doing a business?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a business. You want to make money?
Right.
Now, if it was me, and I know I have a business, and I'm this is what I do, and somebody walk up to me, I'm right there next door doing it. I was
Right.
like, yes, man, when I'm finished, you know, I'll just do it for you. I have to run somewhere else, but I'll just do it, you know, quick
Right.
for you, and this is what I charge, whatever. I mean, he was just iffing, butting, and whatever and stuff. I say, and Lance said, you know, forget it.
Right.
Because I mean, what kind of business are you running? When you are in business, you don't. That's not how you deal with people.
You have to be ready at all times.
Yes.
Bring your A game. Bottom
Yes.
line, Black people, if we're gonna have businesses, we got to bring our A game.
Mm-hmm.
That means you have your marketing materials, you have your business cards. If you're out talking to people and the people are inquiring, have your prices. Whatever your prices are, be comfortable with your prices standing.
Right.
If you charge $50, so what you charge $50.
Right.
Be comfortable with your 50.
Yes.
And so when someone says to you, "Oh, okay, well, what do you charge? Give me, maybe you can show me a portfolio of your work. Give me some references." Have all of that ready.
Exactly.
People might be willing to take a chance on you even if
Exactly.
they never heard of you, because we're waking up and we're realizing we need to support each other
Exactly.
more. So bring your A game and, you know, just be ready. You never know when an opportunity is going to come, so you have to be prepared at all times.
Exactly.
A lot of early businesses, like just in that startup phase, the owners are working like 23 hours out of the day. There's some hours that they might actually be in a shop
Right.
or online or wherever they are, and then the rest of the hours they're actually preparing for the live time.
Exactly.
They're preparing, they're establishing their connections, they're dealing with their marketing, they're dealing with all the other behind the scenes stuff. So you got to be prepared at all times, guys. If you want to bring a business, if you want people to support you, there are a lot of people out here that are going to support, but you have to bring
Yes.
your A game. You know what? And guess what? Maybe you didn't get the funding to get all the nice equipment the way you wanted to, so you might not be at an A game. If your game is a B game, bring me your A game version of your B game. So if it's a B, I mean, polish it up as best you can, top notch. And guess what? We'll see that. As homeowners, most of us, as housewives, people
Right.
come to the door and they're selling their services. We can look and see, okay, you know what? He may not have the best lawnmower.
Right.
You know, he doesn't have the riding one that turns with a certain circumference and diameter and all that other kind of stuff. But his equipment is clean.
Of course.
It looks like he worked, and I saw he did the yard for somebody 3 houses down, and that looked pretty good. So I'm going to give him a try.
Of course.
You know?
Of course, that's how
So-
we have to do, work together.
Mhm.
But when some of us, you know, just doing stuff like that, it bothers me because you want to support it, but this person is like, and I'm saying, what? You didn't even have the decency to say anything. You just drive off and didn't bring a card, didn't say nothing, because even if he given me a card, I would call him and say, you know, when can you do it? How
Right.
much do you charge? Whatever. But nothing. Didn't bring me the card. Didn't come back to say how much he was
Nothing.
going to charge. Just go.
See, service is going to be important. Follow up and customer service is going to be important. And that's an area that a lot of us, especially with all the stuff that we have on our plates, all the baggage that we have, all the emotional stuff we have, might not necessarily be a good field for us to be in, because all of that does
Yes.
come out in how we
Yes.
interact with
True.
people. So, yeah, that's definitely something we're going to have to work on if we're going to get beyond where we are and get to a next place. We're going to have to work on following up, follow through, and then service, your customer service. You have to learn how to, or be comfortable with, whether you probably already know how to do it, but just be comfortable with what I used to call shooting the shit, you know, small talk, because it's in that small talk that you learn the different I think they'll teach you in sales school or something, the different areas in which you can find a way to be able to market some product to the person that you're
Right.
talking to.
True.
So if I come up to you and I strike a conversation, within 5 minutes of that conversation, I'm looking for different things that you're going to say.
Right.
Okay, I know what I sell, and somewhere in there I'm looking for avenues that I can get in to sell you the products that I'm trying to sell. So, and it's just shooting the shit, small talk. A lot of businesses are built or created or expanded or taken off by way of small talk.
Yes.
You know, not some structured business meeting where someone presents a business plan and this one presents a marketing plan and we all vote on it.
Right.
A lot of stuff is just shooting the shit over tea, over coffee, over golf, or whatever it is. And, you know,
Right.
the deals are made that way. So,
Yes, that's how it is, because I can invite you over and just come over, let's have tea together. We sit down, we have some tea together, and we start discussing stuff. Then this turn out to be a business that
Before you know it, got a little business set up.
business going on, and really and truly, when you really look at it, we should be steering our kids, this generation, into that direction. When we have our children and you plan and you have these kids and you send them out there and they go to school, whether you homeschool them or whatever you do, we should be already planning. We should be already have a business, so our kids, they could be moving into this business when they finish college, school, whatever it is. So they could take over if we're not here anymore, or if we want to step into something else. At least the kids, they can take this over and run this, and we could be moving into something else. And we helping our kids, and I'm helping your kids, and you are helping the next neighbor kids, and the neighbor is there helping, and we help. That's how we help each other, and that's how we bring it all together. That's how we unite together. But if we don't do this, we'll never unite. We'll never unite. We'll never get together.
and that's the scary part. That's the scary part of thinking, gosh, what happens if we never get there? If we never unite? If enough of us don't finally wake up and start doing what works for us instead of what works for the powers that be.
Right.
You know? Gosh.
Because we really and truly, we shouldn't, or this generation now that is coming, we really shouldn't have to let them go out there and work for these people that treated them so bad. Talking to them bad, talking to them nasty, talking down on them every day. We as a parent, we shouldn't even let that happen to our children.
We've been around long enough. There are enough of us that have known the deal long enough to where we should at least have some production plants for clothing, for shoes, for purses, for all the things that, some actual manufacturing plants of our own here in the country.
Exactly.
In addition to a couple stores, paper products, furniture, appliances, all of that. We should have, we've been around long enough to where we should have all that in place. Yeah, we had Rosewood, we had that area up in Raleigh, we had Oklahoma, we have all the different little mini Black Wall Streets, if you will, all over the country, and they've been destroyed, bombed, and taken out by the oppressors. But that doesn't mean we can't keep doing it. That doesn't mean we stop.
Right.
That means when one is torn down, somebody else is supposed to rise up.
Rise up, yeah.
We don't let one tear down and then we just sit back and
back
well,
and
they did that to so-and-so, so I'm not
not
going to do it
gonna,
because
yeah.
they... No, when one is knocked down, somebody else supposed to come right back up. And then when they come knock that one down, somebody else supposed to come right back up. And keep going.
Yes.
Eventually they're going to get tired and realize, you know what, we can't stop them. So let's just let them do them and we'll do us. And, eventually that's what they would... I would have hoped that would have happened, but we're a little too scared. So we've been just going along to get along, and Master gonna let us have $10 an hour, and 10 times 40 is 400, and I ain't got to pay no taxes. Not effectively, because when I do my child care credit and exemptions and all that other stuff, I get that money right back. So I wanted to get my little $400 a week, and 4 times 4 is 16. I can pay rent, I can get my car note, I can get me some beer. My girl, I can get her a little piece of something, let her go out and get a nice little dress or some nightie or something, and everything's hunky-dory.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Because what happens next month?
Yep.
You have to put in all them same hours again, and then the next month, so you never get a chance to take vacation. And I think like Lance has said before, when you do take vacation, you spend half of the vacation worried about
you coming back home,
and you coming back, and what's going to go on when you come back.
Yes.
No, you want to be in position to where you can take vacation in the middle of the year if you want.
If you want. Anytime you want, you can go.
Have shortened work days if you want. By chance, let's say you say, well, we're going to shut down on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock.
Right.
And that's just the way we're going to run our business. My employees are going to be able to spend that time, with their families or in meditation, wherever it is they want to spend that time. That's how we're going to run this business. Chick-fil-A does it. Right. Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday. They've always been closed on Sundays. They are very, their version of Christianity. That's what Kathy Truitt was into. And so he made it a point. He's going to always be closed on Sundays. Hobby Lobby, same thing. They're always closed on Sundays. Their thing is so that their employees can worship and, do what they do in church on Sundays. Right. Do I necessarily agree with their religion? No, that's not the point. The point is they believe in something strong enough to where they've gotten themselves in position where they can do that and they can affect that change on other people as well. That's what we need to start doing. Get in position to be able to make those kinds of boss decisions, as these kids say.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I think, I don't know how you feel about that, I think that we should have enough money saved up. We should able to put at least $100 a month together. It's so many of us that we can buy up a couple islands. And we can go there, we can do our own businesses, we can build our little homes and live comfortable. We don't have to have a mansion. You don't have to have a big mansion. If it's only two of you, I don't see why you need like a 5-bedroom house or whatever for 2 people. If you have children, it's a whole different thing. Like if you have 4 kids or 5 kids, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different situation. But I think we really can do these things for ourselves. There's no reason why we can't do all these things. We should be having our own place where we can have our own banks, our own schools, our own everything. I mean, we have our own security. We have, everything for ourselves. We can do that.
A sovereign nation? Would we be a sovereign nation? Would we be our own nation? We're our own separate state, and we would have to, I guess we could be like the Senegalese. The Sentinese, not Senegalese, the Sentinese, whatever they are, and not led, but it would take us some time to get to that mindset of warriorship.
But we can do it. Yeah. Trust me, we can do it. If we all get together, we can do it.
That is a thought, though. Yeah. So if we establish some sort of entity, some sort of business entity, I don't know the name of it, and this is just a brainstorm, of course, business entity, project, betterment of our people, I don't know. And everyone who wants to participate in betterment of our people, maybe do a subscription-based funding of $10 or what we said, $100 a month, $100 a month, even $50 a month, whatever it is, and it's automatically put in, and then we have obviously the legal people to look over whatever it is we're doing, and then the realtor people who can help us to locate the properties that are up and available. What would be some of the first things we do with that? We would want to purchase the property, of course. Then we would want to put in place what? Housing, water, sanitation, well, all those things, they're all priorities that have to happen immediately.
But trust me, we can do it. It's so many of us, we can do it. Let me tell you, sometimes we look at things and we say, oh, we can't do it, it's not going to work, but I tell you, it's so many of us that we start doing this, people would be looking and say, unbelievable. I was you know, people say, I always be negative and say this is not gonna work and it's not gonna happen, whatever. And when you see it happen, you said, oh my goodness, you know, it really worked. You know, we can do it. If we just get together, we can do it. We just have to.
That's a thought. We might need to look at that. Just, I don't know, maybe we should look, you look and I'll look on my end. Maybe toss around some ideas, brainstorm a little bit about actually, I mean, what sort of structure. I guess we would have to have it a nonprofit or something.
Right.
And get all the legal stuff so that we could open a bank account, a real bank account. And then people can do, you can do it either through PayPal, Cash App, or any of those. And have
they know where their
based.
money is going because they have a receipt. You do something like that, you make sure each person have their receipt whenever they get pay their money, you know, so they know it's there and what it's going for. Like, you know, nobody ain't taking their money, taking advantage of them or anything.
And then we'd also have to have then some sort of, we'd have to have some sort of web presence that is secured by membership or credentials, login, password, because those who aren't participating to that level obviously are not eligible or entitled to the nitty-gritty, the inside information. But then we'd also want to have some sort of business meetings, if you will, and if people are scattered all over the place, we'd have to have those meetings online, Skype or chat or some kind of way to have them where people would log in with their credentials, user ID and password to be able to enter the meeting, and then we can talk, you know, through Skype, I guess. And there are other apps, but Skype is what's coming to my mind. Okay, y'all, we found this property here, we found this, we've talked to this lawyer, these are what the lawyers say. Okay, everybody, let's get a vote on. And these from all the paying people. Although the ones who are paying,
the people
let's get a vote on, do we want to buy this, or do we want to go with this attorney's suggestion, or, you know, if we need a sanitation, water filtration system, do we want to buy this system in place, and, you know, that sort of thing. Or, you know what, who's willing to go down 6 months before we actually start building homes and start laying the foundation for gardens and food and stuff like that. Start getting that taken care of. So yeah, that's we might need to look at that. Some quick brainstorming and I'm sure Lance is gonna post this out there somewhere. I don't know how he's gonna do this, but when he does, whoever hears this, you know, if you have some thoughts on that, or if you're interested in working with that, you know, because right now we're just brainstorming. So yeah, we would, if someone is interested in that, we would definitely want help. Because I know you got stuff and I've got stuff, and, you know, we've got Road to Restoration and we've got Mr. Lance over there, and, you know, kids and all that other good stuff. But yeah, it's definitely something that needs to do.
Because we really truly need to do some things for ourselves. We really, because if we don't start doing, there's nobody gonna help us along the way either. We have to get up and start doing the darn thing, because they're looking at us like all these other people coming here for instance, in United States, you have the Indians, you have the Chinese, you have all these other people that come here and open business on the corner, open a 7-Eleven franchise. They'll open this place and that place. And why we are not doing anything for ourselves, and they're looking at us like, look at them. We come here and we doing this, and they running to the corner store, spending their money, and they're taking all of our money. So why not that money that we run into the corner store, why not run into our corner store? You see what I'm saying? And we're not gonna do all the bad stuff for our children anyway. We don't want all that crazy madness for them, all the sugary stuff. You don't need that for your kids, then, because this is what make them
crazy,
jumping off the chair and everywhere and all over the place, and cheese doodles and whatever you call those, make your fingers look nasty, sticky, orange and all that stuff, you know. So we need to do for ourselves. We need to do for our people, and we need to get together more than we said giving our kids them a couple $, and they run into the corner store to spend that money. Why can't we do our own thing, have our own thing, have our kids, our little kids, them $2 that you're giving the kids every day, they need to be opening a little account to save their own money, to be responsible. To later on they can go and say, all this money I save up, Now we're living in a place where I can build up my own little house. Now I have my own family, so now I can get my own little house. You know, and I can get a little job right here in the village or wherever. You know.
Or here's another thought: if you just absolutely have to give your kids the money and they feel like they absolutely have to spend it, get a vending machine.
Right.
Add a vending machine in your garage.
Exactly.
And put in the drinks that you think are appropriate for them to drink.
Right.
The snacks that are appropriate for them to have. And so when they have their money, whether they've earned it or whether it's allowance or they found it, wherever they got it from, and they can go to the vending machine with approved food that you've approved and spend it there. And guess what? That money is still staying in the family.
That's a good idea.
It's not going anywhere else.
That's a good idea.
And I mean, you can get a vending machine for as cheap as $400 or $500 used.
Exactly.
It's just for you all, so you don't need anything, you know, robust to do a whole lot of major whatever. And go to the grocery store, go to Sam's and purchase whatever it is you need to purchase. Stock it with the waters, with the, you know, whatever.
All the good
Gatorade, whatever it is you're going to have them to drink, the coconut waters, whatever. And then whatever snacks you're going to put. Even if you put in fresh fruit.
Right.
Now, you might want one refrigerated if you're going to put fresh fruit. But if you're going to put apples, bananas, because I've seen some vending machines that have fresh fruit in them.
Yeah.
And even if it is snacks, rice cakes, or you know, whatever it is, put all of that in there and let the kids go out to the garage and put their little dollar in there, and they get their little drink out.
To the corner store. Yeah. And then, you know, when you think about that, you know, when you're doing stuff for us, we're doing it for all of us. We can also have factories to make our own stuff.
To make our own stuff, exactly.
Yeah, make our own shoes, our own bags, or as you say, you know, with clothes, anything. It's so much of us is so good with the sewing machine and different stuff. So you build your factories and you employ your people, so they have jobs and they can able to do their work, and they can laugh and talk with each other at the same time. We're in which a lot of times we're on these jobs that they don't even want to see you talking to your own people.
Exactly.
You know, so we need to really connect and start doing these things. We really have to really get together and I think it's not a bad idea in doing, you know, something like this.
Yeah, some seamstresses start. The wheels are turning. The wheels are turning because I'm already seeing some things a little further down the road. But yeah, definitely. And you know, we've got these eBay stores, Amazon stores. What is the other one? It's pink. I can't call her name. Anyway, all these different online marketing sources.
Right.
Well, if you were able to get your product, source your product, tops. Okay.
Right.
So your factory, and it could be, you don't have to have a big factory.
Right.
You just make tops, just casual tops. So, and you make them in the standard colors, black, white, red, blue, green, you know, whatever. And that may be your thing. And somebody, you know, 10 miles away may just do casual slacks, casual pants, you know, shorts or whatever, cotton, basic cotton twill, something, and that's it, standard. Source your product right here. You don't have to source it in the Philippines or in China or Honduras or wherever. You could source it right here with us. Will you pay a couple dollars more? Yeah, you will.
Yes.
But guess what? That couple dollars is staying within within our community. And it's
quality stuff because you're making sure, you know. You're doing your little restaurant, whatever. And whatever you do is right. Everything is just right there. If you come home from work or you leave your job and you say, you know what, I'm gonna stop over by this little restaurant right here. There's a vegan restaurant. I'm gonna grab something to eat, or just bring something home for the family tonight because I don't feel like going home and cook. I know it's clean food, so I'm gonna just bring home something for the family tonight. You know, that's the thing that we can do. We're not doing no junk food, nothing for the kids, nothing that is bad for them. You know, nothing that is bad for the family. Something healthy for the family we're going to have tonight. And even though we're getting at the restaurant, you know, it's something healthy, you know.
So we need more healthier restaurants.
Yes.
More of them. But at the same token, not necessarily do we need more, but we need more people to patronize the ones that we have. And to sustain the funding or the cost for opening up additional locations. Because you might have I know in my city there are a couple places that people will drive all the way to the other side of town just to go to.
Wow.
These places they've got history. They're run by elder,
Right.
black conscious people. And the food is just awesome. And I mean, it's just awesome. You drive a whole hour to get there just to get one little old wrap, you know? And you want to get 3 or 4 and take them back with you because, you know, you went so far. But how many of us are going to sustain if those people were able to open, and for those in my area, Sunshines is what it's called in our area. If there were another Sunshines, maybe on the north side, because that one I think is kind of the southeast part of the city. If there was one maybe on the southwest side and one, you know, up on the north side, will we patronize them enough to sustain them holding those businesses open?
Yes. That's
and if we will, then, you know, gung-ho, of course, we definitely want more locations open because that's spreading the healthier food around. But we, you know, again, what we said about earlier, we tend to get to where, because someone is at a level and we're not there, we would not support them. We would tear them down. We would talk about them. And if, you know, if we go in one day or the health department goes in one day and see one roach somewhere where it's not supposed to be, that would be the talk of the town for years. But how many of them buffet, all-you-can-eat Chinese buffets and fast foods you go to, and they got roaches in everywhere, rats in there, they got all hair all over the place, all kinds of violations, and we don't complain about them and we don't boycott them, but we have one violation or 2 violations on us,
all over
and
the
we're ready
place
to shut us down and never use us again.
Yes, and telling everybody, you don't go over there.
Yeah,
they find one roach on the counter, don't go over there because of one roach or one little thing, or maybe one little piece of hair somewhere, and then, you know, you're telling everybody don't go there anymore. And that's how we stop supporting each other. We don't really support each other.
And I tell you, I used to do inspections for don't call the name of the company, but I will say I used to inspect establishments that carried certain products. These products were refrigerated, and so that's what I did. And I would do the inspections. They would be on-site inspections, but unplanned, like surprise inspections. And the locations that did the products, they knew the inspection was coming. Like, they would know you have to be inspected 2 or 3 times a year, but they didn't know when. So technically, I could inspect on Monday, and if a new quarter started Friday, I might go back on Saturday and re-inspect the exact same location. But usually, you know, I gave a little bit more time in between for them to correct whatever I found on Monday. But y'all would be surprised. You would be surprised how many places have products that are perishable, like milk products and that sort of thing, that are outdated, or that might have had a small hole somewhere in the food, in the packaging. And, like, well, milk, if there's a hole, it'll leak out. But some things won't necessarily leak out. And if there's a hole, so now we've got bacteria that has made it inside there. And you walk right on in, you're not checking your product. You're purchasing, you go home, and before you know it, it might not be so bad to where it's salmonella about to kill you, but some bacteria has formed in there. So you fix that food, and your family eats it, and everybody's on the toilet all night long, and you don't know why. So, and then one of the other things, some of these products would be found in, and I'm trying to be as anonymous as I can without calling the names of the products or the company, but well, they're dairy products, and the ice cream places, you know, any place that had fresh ice cream or whatever would use them. So I found many times on my surprise inspections of these establishments, stuff spoiled. I mean, or past the expiration date. And even when they're being used in fresh foods or fresh ice cream or fresh anything, there are certain guidelines for that. And so if you walk in and for example, if a batch of ice cream was made at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and according to the regulations, it needs to remain at a certain temperature for X number of hours and can only be stored for a total of 12 hours before it has to dispose. You might walk into that freezer and you might see some ice cream that was made 3 days ago. and it's still sitting there.
Wow.
So we want to be mindful of things like
Yes.
that. That's why people learn to make their own ice cream.
Right.
You know, or you know, learn to make popsicles or
Right.
something. You know, do away
Because
with
we
it.
can do that.
Mm-hmm.
We make our own stuff at home, and you know, the kids can have what they need. They don't have to run out there and buy certain things, you know. And that's where it comes. That's why we need to have our own everything. Again, as I say, and I just say about the vending machine. You can put it in the garage, and the kids can buy from that with whatever funds you give to them. You know, so they don't have to run away, because the money stays right there in the family, and they do those things because they make sure their money stays.
Exactly.
Yeah. They make sure. And that's why they'll have their kids out there selling lemonade and whatever, because their money stays right
It
there.
stays in the family. Exactly. We're the ones that we're going to go give our money away to everywhere else.
Everybody else.
Instead of, and here's the other thing. If you know, if your neighbors know that you have this little vending machine in your garage for your kids, don't be surprised if their kids aren't coming up with their little allowance money trying to get some drinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then before you know it, it's like a bug that you spread, but this is a good bug. So now you've got these other kids wanting to eat and drink their snacks a little healthier than the regular stuff at the corner store. And just let it keep spreading on, spreading on.
That's true.
That's be contaminated with good stuff, you know?
There's so much that we can do. I mean, there's so much that we can do. We are just afraid to stand up. Yeah, and to take the first step and say, this is what I'm going to do. And if I just support you, and you support me, and you support the neighbor, and as I say, we just keep supporting everyone around the neighborhood, and by the time you look around, it's spread like wildfire, you know. And that's how it works. But we have to do it. You know, growing up in the island, and you know, you go down the street and all you see in the little shops and stuff like was us, you know, having our stores or restaurant different. But now the Chinese take over the whole place, you know. The government just sell out everything to the Chinese, and we just sit back and think that, oh, it's okay. So whatever little money we have, we take it and we go and give it to the Chinese and think it's okay. And we don't have nothing, and they have everything.
And they have everything. And that was hard. When I took the girls, I took them, I think when they were 12, 13, 14, some age, I don't even remember how old they were. I took them, because at this point we're now traveling, and we're now traveling with a different set of eyes. We're traveling to see history, to see the real behind the fake that, you know, the media gives us all the time. So this time I took them to St. Thomas, and we went down Charlotte Amalie, and so we're going through the little shops, and I'm sharing with them, see, as a little girl, this used to be this store. And it was owned by so-and-so, so-and-so. And they look like us. But now you go in all of the, a lot of the shops, and if they're owned by somebody that ain't black. They're owned either by Chinese or some other nationality that have moved down and retired and purchased a business. And you know, now since they've been there 10, 15 years, you think they're native. They're not native. They're native transplant is what they are. They transplanted, they started getting their hair braided, wore a couple beads and some stuff and some flowy shirts, and got you thinking that they're from there. So just sharing with the kids how so much has changed, and the landscape does not look the same, because we've sold out. Our people have sold out in a lot of ways. Money, gosh, man, that money is that's a strong God to somebody, because he's getting us to sell a lot. And
then they put in the Bible, said money is the root of all evil.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
So come on now, they put that there because they know that's how they are, and that's why they come up to say, like, there's a time is gonna come where there's be money in the street, and like you and I will be just stepping over it because we don't have no use for it, you know. And that's what they put these things in the Bible for us to see, but we don't even realize, and we don't know what it means.
We don't know what it means, and I think sometimes we know that, well, we're taught that in order for the witches, the warlocks, the demons, and all of that to do what they do, we have to come into agreement with them in some way. And we know, they may come to you in your dream and try to get you to agree in your dream, either by eating something, saying something, whatever, to be in agreement with the curse that they're trying to put over you. Well, sometimes I wonder if some stuff that's in the Bible that we're not paying attention to, but yes, Lord, yes, we agree, we agree.
Yes.
You're coming in agreement with a whole lot of that stuff, and you don't know what all you're coming in agreement with.
The demons.
All of those covenants that you're agreeing to, so you're agreeing to do what? For money to have the role that it has. They're telling you right there, this is what's coming down the pipeline, this is what you're going to face, and we're still in agreement with it. Okay, well, yeah, if that's what you choose to continue to do, for those of you who do, that's that. I'm not there. I'm at a different point in my life.
Yes.
And no, I'm at a different point in life. But that's like wow. I don't know why the relationship thing just popped in my head again. Well, because Lance and I remember we were having the thing about the can't we just be friends? Why is it every time a guy and girl are with each other in what's the word I want to say? They're dealing with each other. Why do we assume that it's romantic?
Right.
Why do we assume that they're sleeping together, or if not sleeping together, they're making plans to sleep together? And when we were thinking about the church, I thought about that because a lot of that happens in the church, and that may be why, one of the reasons why it's difficult for us to see a male and a female in each other's company, and think, something's got to be going on behind the scenes, because that's what happens in a lot of the churches.
Exactly.
A lot of them, you got the pastor sleeping around, you got the husband sleeping with somebody other than their wife, you got the wives sleeping with somebody other than, even the teenagers run around hopping with each other. So, and boys and girls.
Yes.
The church I was at, I was shocked, and it was coming out, it wasn't just boys and girls together, it was girls and girls together. Like, oh, wait a minute, we got that going on in here too. But yeah, regarding that whole platonic relationship thing, guys and girls, male and female, can be in relationship with each other without it being a romantic relationship.
True.
Think about it. As a female, what are we to our men? We're wives, girlfriends, something romantic. We're that.
Yes.
We're daughters. We're sisters. We're mothers. We're aunties. We're all those other things. So why is it when we see a guy and girl together, they must be the romantic, and that's it?
And a lot of times we don't even know what is going on here, because it could be a family member that you never met, but yet you assume that these two people sleeping together, which is not even right. Because for me, I like to talk to other guys and stuff like that. There be somebody that I know from a long time ago, and Lance will know about this person, because it's not like you're hiding from, oh, Lance, this is so and so, and I'm introducing this person, this is my husband Lance, whatever, and Lance already know that nothing ain't going on here. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't see why we can't be friends where we talk sometimes, or if you come over and we're all together and we talk. I don't see nothing wrong with that. You understand? But some people look at things different. They will assume that she must be sleeping with him. Why did she invite him over there with her husband, or whatever? But
threesomes. We heard that the other night we were on. They said, really? Y'all having a threesome. Well, they didn't say y'all, but they they meant to say, you, me, and Lance were having a threesome thing going on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they went there. It was kind of like, really?
That's sick.
If all you can think about is sex and sex between people, then I almost want to say you'll never get anywhere in life.
That is just so sick to say something like that, when you don't know.
Yeah.
If you want to ask a question, you want to find out what's going on. You just trying to just say things that just out of your head. Ask,
Yeah, come to think of it, the wrong person might hear that or see that and take it and run with it, and you know what, they're swinging, they're doing all of this Hollywood kind of stuff.
It's
But
just,
yeah, well, I guess, and that's one of the things we have to look at being on the YouTube streets, you know,
Right,
that people
right,
are going to say and try to tear down as much as they can.
Exactly.
Just because we've already established, we, for whatever reason, melanated people be more people instead of be like people. Be
Right.
more people tend to tear each other down.
Right.
That's what we've been trained to do for generations. We've been trained to tear each other down. Powers that be, the Caucasian people, the melanated, the non-melanated people, whatever you want to call them, they don't have to do anything because they've trained us to do it to
Right.
ourselves. So what do? You have, in our case, you have Lance and I working together. And here I'm in your house. I'm looking at you every day in your house, and I'm supposed to be doing something with your husband. Really? So what that says is you devalue me, you degrade me so
Right.
to the point that you think I'm just that kind of low down,
Right,
dirty
right.
person. And you know, I kind of took offense to that for a
Right.
minute. And then, you know, Lance is like, I got it. So, you know, I backed off of it. But that's the kind of stuff, that's why we have issues.
Yes.
Because when you have people that are working toward some kind of better for us, whatever that better may be, and it's going to vary depending on who it is, you do things like try to tear down their character.
True.
Now, who in their right mind, I know what I could do, and I'm changing it here. I could come back at them
Right.
with some of the same little nasty stuff that they're putting out. I wonder how that would feel. So when we were younger, when people said
Wow.
stuff, the first thing came
Yes.
your mother.
Yes.
And you'd be ready to fight.
Yes.
You'd be like, yeah, come on, you want to come with it? You want to talk to me like that?
Yeah.
You want to call me some kind of little whore or something?
Right.
You didn't use the term whore.
Right.
But the same thing that you're, you know, what you're saying is equivalent to,
Right.
you know.
Bring it on.
I mean, really, then, yeah, your mama. And
Yeah.
be ready for it.
Yes.
Yeah. But I chose to, one of my things was to, yeah. She reminded me, don't forget her t-shirts. And me and Lance were supposed to go to the mall. But yeah, that whole just being platonic, bottom line.
Right.
People will be surprised how many, at least for me, for example, how many men I come in contact with. First of all, I jive better with men.
Right.
We women,
It's iffy.
witches
Iffy.
with another letter, you know. They're catty. They're and not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I just, you know what? No, I've had enough of that in my life. Guys, all you have to do is just deal with the sex part.
Right.
We're not doing, and it's not all of them.
But it's not all guys,
Right.
you know, go there, you know?
So once you eliminate
Yes.
that, if I eliminate that we're not doing
Yeah.
the romantic stuff, look, let's put our heads together and let's
Together.
work on whatever it is we're working on. And you don't have to deal so much. And there are a couple who periodically will forget that
Right.
initially you said we're not going there, and
Right.
they may try again.
True.
And no, remember, no, we're not doing that. And you fall right on back in
Yes.
line and do what you got to do.
Exactly.
So I personally tend to vibe better with guys.
Yes.
Able to get more done. We're able to sit down to a table, bring out our notebooks, our paper, and you know, come up with some plans and get some stuff done.
Start working
Women,
together.
you're still caught on that.
Yeah.
You know, her hair looks this way
Yes.
today. Her eyes are this way. How many times my boyfriend or my husband or my man, whoever it is, has called me and 4 times to tell me how much he loves me, and she doesn't have a man. She's
Right.
jealous. So now, instead of her working on what we're working on, she's secretly trying to figure out how to sabotage me because I've got a man that's calling, checking on me, and she doesn't. You know, just
Right,
stupid
right.
stuff.
Stupid
That's what
stuff.
women do. And not all women, in all fairness, but
Right.
enough of them to where I don't want to be wasting my energy
Exactly.
with foolishness.
Yes.
You know, if you're over 40, over 45, you should be at a point in life where all of that stuff is past. You know, it's time out for all of that.
Right.
You are where you are in life. If you have a man or a husband or woman, well, whatever it is you have your mate, you
Right.
have your mate.
Right.
If you don't, then stay away from everybody else's.
Right.
And fix yourself to where you need to be,
Right.
so that when your mate comes along, you're ready and you have your relationship. But
True.
that should not be factors in whether you do or don't do, or whether you're going to hang with me or you or whomever it is,
Right.
because we have mates and you don't, or
It is
But now
sick.
I tell you what though, here's another reason why people might have trouble believing in strictly platonic relationships. Maybe they're used to messing in forbidden fruit.
Yes.
Maybe they're used to messing around with folk who are otherwise promised to somebody else.
Right,
And they like
right.
doing that stuff on the side. So, which is why they can't, for whatever reason, see that someone could actually be in a committed relationship and be honest and
Right.
be, you know, I'll tell anybody, hey, before my husband and I got married, I was on my own path, my
Right.
own journey of just getting better, doing better, being better, feeling better, healthy,
Right.
all of that. And so I spent many years outside of any committed relationship. And outside of a committed relationship also meant that there was no sex going on.
Right.
That was by choice.
Right.
No, we can date, you know, from time to time because, you know, you're a girl. You want to go
Yes.
out. You want to be pampered. You want somebody to hold the doors and buy your dinner.
Right.
And, you know, you want that, okay. So we do that and we'll have conversation. But that's as far as it went.
Right.
And if there was pressure to do more, then, okay, bye. See
Right.
ya. It was nothing for me to just say bye.
Right.
And then once my husband and our relationship developed and went further, a commitment is a commitment.
True.
That's that. So when we said, okay, we're here, we stand before God, and at that point, our God, we were still in the church, but
Right.
when we stand before God and we make this commitment, it's not about you, it's not about my mom, his mom, or anybody else.
Yes.
It's
The
you and
God.
I and God, we're making this
Yeah,
commitment.
both of you.
And I've honored that to this day, have not been with another man in any
Right.
kind of, not even like crushing, let me get a quick kiss,
Right.
none of that. Because the
Because
commitment was
your
there.
your mind is not out there like that.
That's commitment.
You know, yeah.
That's commitment. A lot of people, oddly enough, are jumping into committed relationships or marriages, and they're not there.
True.
And they think it's okay to still turn around and see the fine girl or the fine guy at the mall and
Right.
all over them. Well, if you're in a committed relationship, nobody should get you to the point where you're salivating.
yeah, you're
But
not-
your spouse. Now you could look and say,
Right.
"Oh, dang, he fine,"
Right.
and keep it moving.
Exactly.
Or you could look and say, "Oh, yeah, she got a nice butt on her," but you keep it moving.
Moving, yeah.
Because your spouse is the one that's supposed to invoke all
Right.
the rest of it. You can, oh, that's cute, but then you go home and you,
Right.
you know, handle it at home.
Exactly.
So I think that's commitment, that's maturity, that's when you get to that point. And so you can go to, I guess, what is it? I don't even know if they have Chippendales anymore, but like the strip clubs and all them kind of places. It's like, okay, yeah, and I did actually have, you know, go to a couple bridal showers or whatever the case may be, and they have their little strippers,
Right.
and you know, these men, they trying to throw themselves all over you, and
Right,
I'm
right.
well, first of all, I've never been that kind of person anyway. So all of that just, and it's not that I'm saying anything's wrong with it. That just was never me.
Right.
Because again, certain things to me are private and should remain there. So you would not see me in a public environment with some stripper guy and I'm all over him
Right.
throwing money. I just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And they would come and be trying to do their due and jingling their stuff at me and all. And I'm just sitting here. One time I had to take my hands. I mean, I think they sent him to me to like make me
Right.
loosen up and stuff. It didn't work. This man is here standing over my chair just trying to be doing all his little jiggling and wiggling and stuff, and I'm just looking. I'm just looking. I'm literally I just tuned him out straight, and everybody's like, "Oh, Brenda, go, Brenda." And finally he realized he wasn't getting anywhere
Right.
with me. I wasn't coming off no money.
Yeah.
I wasn't touching and feeling and none of that. Because
Right.
actually, you're not mine.
Right, you don't want to be
I don't
touching.
even want to
like,
touch you anyway, okay? He moved on to somebody else and they played right on into
This
all of
crazy
the
madness.
simulating and stuff. I wasn't doing that.
I'm telling you.
But yeah, that platonic stuff that's a whole nother sex bottom line, if you will. It's just, it's run rampant. It's in everything, it's everywhere, and people, I think they don't know how to separate life from it.
It's just sick to me. It's really sick. It's really a sick situation because I can't see myself, married to Lance and I'm out there fooling around with somebody else and or I'm taking somebody here and claiming that, you know, oh, this is so and so, this is my, you know, you understand what I'm saying? But you know, people do these things. So reason why anybody would say this is because they do this. They are into that situation. They are doing that. So they expect you and them to be the same, and you are not. You understand what I'm saying? So they think that all this stuff is going on. They don't know nothing about us.
Yeah.
So they're gonna say whatever they want to say, and negative stuff all the time. They never come with positive stuff. That's why we can never reach where we're going, because we always come in with all these
negative stuff, trying to tear each other down before we could get anywhere.
Exactly. It is just so sick. It's really sick the way we behave and the way we think, you know.
Yep.
It is something. It is. But we have so much to think about, and you know, the right thing that we need to do is really that we really need to get ourselves together. We really need to put ourselves together and do things that's gonna help us and our children and our children's children. Yeah.
Put some clothes on, all of us, all male and female. Put some, boys, pull your pants up.
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Pull them up. Just
please. I'm telling you.
It doesn't look good at all.
Goodness.
It really doesn't.
I wish.
It's actually a turn off.
Yes.
To anyone who has people who are seeking to do better, to be better, to embrace their better. They get it that better is not having your drawers sticking out and your pants hanging out.
Oh my goodness.
The ones who prefer that tend to be lower vibrational.
Yes.
I think is the correct, politically correct term. They're lower vibrational. Why would you want that? Pull your pants up. How they say in the country, pull them britches up.
Yes.
Pull your britches up to your natural waist.
Yes.
Put a belt on. You know, carry yourself appropriately.
You know how they always say, like, boy, if you don't pull your pants up, you know, in the Caribbean business.
What is it?
You know, boy, if you don't pull your pants up and put a belt in your pants, you're gonna get a piece of ass whooping when you get home.
Okay,
like,
all right.
Yeah, you know. But I'm just like, you know, when you see these young men and I notice, I see guys, and I know some of these guys like in their 40s and stuff like that. And you have your pants way down and you behind.
And I don't get that.
Showing your underwear.
Age, you should be beyond that.
Yes.
I'm working with the 20-year-olds, the 25. I'm struggling, but you know I can work with them. You 40, 45, and you got your son here, and you're behind.
Yeah.
Oh, what about teachers? I was in school and I saw a teacher. I'm looking at the crack of his behind. You in there with a class of high schoolers now. And you bending down, and this is what you got going on, and how you expect the kids to respect you in any kind of way.
It is so disgusting. I mean, it is so disgusting. I just hate it. When my boys that were here, I never ever catch one of them. If they do it, I don't know. If they do it, it's not when I'm around. Because I know if they were coming home from school and I was coming down the street and I see them walking, and they know if I ever see their pants, I'm going to turn that car around. They know that, because that is so disgusting. And they always have a belt in their pants. They always. And I'm not going to spend my money and buy some clothes like I see some of these kids. They're not working anywhere. But I don't understand why you have on these expensive jeans but down here like tight, and you just have it right here and your underwear. I'm going to spend my money for my child to come out the house looking like that?
And I didn't like when, even my girls, when their friends were, because they have guy friends too, and they would come over, and or if I saw them, don't let me have to go to the school, and they were all, you know, kind of hanging around or whatever, and they run, as soon as I drive up, hey mom, hey mom, hey mom, and all the kids, and you know, it was great because I had something to bring in, they could carry it. But then I look, and this baby, come. And they know what that means. That means I have to have a conversation. I'm going to correct you on something you got going on. Let's get them close. I said, work with me, please. And they look at me. And if they're a new child that just adopted into the family, they don't know what that means. The rest of them know, all right, come, that means before they pulling off, yes ma'am, getting it together. Because as a parent, I'm just a parent in the school along with my kids that go to school there. And I took the time to say to them, it doesn't look good.
Right.
It offends me to see you looking like that. It hurts me to see you looking like that. And the boys were okay with at least doing it in my presence.
Right.
So here's my question. If 10 other mothers did that, how long we keep them boys with their pants up? Okay? So as long as I'm the only one, they just have to, have it, for the time that I'm there. And then when I leave, they could do what they want. But if all the others, or half of the others, did the same thing, we could affect the change in them kids.
Of course. We all should be getting together and doing these things. We all, as mothers, as fathers, we all should be getting together with our children. Not only my children, but your children, the neighbors' children, and all of our children. We should be all getting together and getting these children together. None of our children should be walking down the street with their pants like that. None of them should be walking and holding up, oh my goodness, I just hate it. I hate it. And when I see these grown men walking around with their son or their little grandkids and their pants is falling down to their behind.
And they think it's cute. It's the style. It's cool. It's okay.
It's not. It's
That's the quickest way to get caught when the police are chasing you.
Yes.
Because you can't run with your pants hanging down.
Of course. They can't run. Run
and I
where?
laughed because somebody was trying to catch the bus. And his pants were hanging down and he couldn't run. He wanted to miss in the bus because his pants, he was trying to run and catch the bus with his pants. I just thought it was funny.
Can't run. It's so...
But it's not just the boys, the girls too. They need to put their clothes on.
Yeah.
And the ones who are gay, lesbian, LGBT, they walk around like male and hanging their stuff. But the girls who are feminine, who are remaining feminine, I guess, they can put clothes on. You got all of this be out.
But how they go to school like that too?
The bras pushed
up to their neck. Up to their neck.
And they think it's cute.
Yes.
Or their skirts. When you sit down, you know you're going to be able to see all of them and everything.
Yes.
Because they're so short, they're tight, they're very fitting. And what happened to the days when we left something for the guys to imagine?
Right.
What happened to the days when we reserved those things for our spouse? Or today they're not really getting married so much, but your boyfriend or your your guy that you're living with. You reserve those things for him. And then you don't have to put it on parade for everybody else. Because the only thing you're doing to me is you're telling her, the girl next door that wants your man, what she has to compete with. So you're showing her all your curves.
Yes.
How big your boobs are. You're showing her all of that so she knows what she has to work to try to overcome sexually to him. So you giving her kind of an edge up in the competition.
Exactly.
And then the guys, you showing them what all that you have, that you're working with. So they're sitting there like, oh yeah, I want that. Let me figure out how I can get rid of him so I can get that.
Right.
Really? It's all about sex and lust and screwing and all of that. What Hope called her yesterday? What she called her yesterday? Sport fucking?
Sport
fucking.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what she gave it the name. They're doing it for sport.
Wow.
So I guess then we should start having, hey, wait a minute now. I'm going to go somewhere with this.
2019
so we should have
fucking championship.
Exactly.
This is Howard Cosell. Exactly. We have some of the greatest hoochies here. Look at what they're working with. Twerking. They're in there warming up and twerking. You want some?
Cut a piece.
Cut a piece. Wait. The cameras are rolling. I'm not supposed to be here interrupting the flow of the conversation. Piece?
No, thank
you.
You
know you want some.
No,
I got to get myself in shape for the twerking championship.
For the twerking championship? Okay. So you're going to be a judge? Hey, that's a thought.
I wouldn't have to judge.
Yeah, right? What makes it right and wrong? And how do you know? Okay.
Well, let me break the flow. This is a masterpiece.
Can you have that candle, please?
But yeah, with the clothes, the other, what was it? I remember, I'm thinking, my kids' freshman year of high school, their first year of high school, and there was some girl, one of my daughters has a disability, and another little girl had the same disability.
Oh, wow.
And so, if you know it, then you know what to look for in the other person. So, that's how it is, like, I think the first month of freshman year. And so they were kind of connecting with each other. Well, this little girl, it's an adorable little girl, actually. She wore a dress one day, but I could look straight through the dress and see everything up underneath it.
Oh, wow.
Now, for whatever reason, we've gotten to the idea, and this is no reflection upon her mom, because actually when I was correcting her, her mom drove up to pick her up, and she kind of, all right, well, what's going on here? And so I told her what was what, and she turned her child on and she said, girl, you know better, and you should start lighting on her. But for whatever reason, the kids are thinking that the undergarments are not necessary. And no, yeah, you still need to cover your stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
A little skimpy little something does not. No, you need a slip, a camisole, or your skirt if it's a lined skirt or lined jacket, something to cover your stuff. Because again, give people something to wonder. Give your husband something to wonder
Man,
about.
think you're trying to sell something out there.
Well, yeah, we might can make some money. Yeah, well, yeah, they might think you're trying to sell something.
Right.
And then with all the pedophiles and the rapists and stuff, you don't want to give them
Yes.
any reason to
Yeah,
think
you got to be careful.
it's easy
with
to
that.
get
Yes.
to you, you know?
Yeah, you have to be so careful with that part, yeah.
Mm.
Because there's so many of them out there, too. These girls these days, I always wonder with the girls, them going to school, and especially middle school and high school, and these short mini skirt for real and heels. Where are you going?
They're going to school.
I think
They're going to enter the contest.
Every
The sport
child
effing
should be
contest.
wearing uniform. Every child should be in uniform, go to school, because everybody should be dressed in the same way.
But you know what? I disagree with that. The reason why I disagree, and I understand the rationale. When I was in New York, they said it was because too many of us were getting robbed for our clothes.
Right.
Like if somebody had expensive sneakers and
Right.
somebody didn't, so the kid got bullied or his
Right.
stuff got stolen. So I got that part. And I get the part about inappropriate dress as far as having a skirt that's too short or a shirt that's too
Right.
tight. I get that part. But what I struggle with is the uniform itself. The whole concept of uniform takes away someone's individuality.
Okay.
And what we're doing in this country, as we can see, is we're taking away all of our individualities.
True.
And we're trying to make all of us little drones that think the same, breathe the same, do the same as the powers that be are telling us to do. We don't want free thinkers. We don't want independent thinkers. Well, they don't want independent thinkers. So when I look at uniform, I think of just another extension of them trying to take away our individuality
True.
and make us all.
Didn't think
just the
about it
same.
like that. Yeah.
Because when I went to the store when I went to Penny's the other day, I looked in and I could see the same bottoms, the same colors and all
Right.
as we have in my state. They have here.
Wow.
So this is really going on. So before you know it, all the kids will be wearing the same uniforms everywhere.
True.
Really? So how does that differ? How does that make them different? How does that help? Because the ones who want to wear tight clothes, trust they're gonna figure out a way to get their skirt as tight as they want it.
Oh yeah.
If they want it short, they're gonna figure out a way to get their
Yeah,
skirt
sure.
as short as they want
True.
it.
That's true.
And then at one point, some of the schools were not even allowing the girls to wear dresses. They had to wear khaki pants and that's it.
Oh. Wow.
So now what you're doing is you're taking away, and this was my thought at the time, you're taking away her femininity. You're making her wear pants.
True. Yes.
She can't
Instead
wear
of
a
wearing
dress.
Yeah.
Why? Because you got some girls who are too hot in the behind,
Right.
and they're going to go open their legs with that dress on in the locker room or where in the
Yeah,
hallway.
true.
So all the rest of the girls must lose their ability or their freedom to dress like a girl and feel like a girl. Because you got some
Yes.
hot behind little girls.
I got you.
I
where you're
didn't.
coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my issues with the
Yeah.
uniforms. Because when my girls were little, they started out in private school, so they did have to wear uniforms, and I knew that. When I was paying the
Right.
tuition, I knew they were going to be in uniform.
Right.
But they weren't the same uniforms that these kids are wearing in the public schools.
Right.
They were at a private school, so it was the uniforms were more parochial
Yes,
school
yes.
uniform, the checkers and all of that stuff. And then actually when they moved over into public school, they were in uniform at that point, but my kids had not worn pants.
Right.
I think they wore pants twice, maybe up until 4th grade. And that's only because it was cold. And so, and I couldn't put them on a dress with, you know, it's freezing cold.
Right.
Even the long johns, the tights weren't enough. So I got some pants and, you know, just dressed them really, really warm. That's the only reason why they had the pants. Up until that, they were in dresses. And then they started to want to wear pants more. And I was like, okay, you can wear pants twice a week and dresses the other 3 days. Just, you know, because it was easy for them in PE and playing and stuff. But, you know, to tell girls when they were, I think, middle school, by the time they got to middle school, their middle school had pretty much said no dresses at all.
Oh, wow.
The only way they could wear a dress is if they were of the Muslim faith, and their dress had to be. You see how these skirts I wear? Their dresses, they had to come all the way down to their ankles.
Right.
That's the only way they could wear a dress. But they had to profess the Muslim faith and show documentation that this was their faith, and why otherwise they had to wear pants. And you know, I struggle with that, like I said, because of the femininity issue, because I wanted my girls to still be able to embrace their feminine side. Wear the pants, you know, it's convenient, you're in PE, and, you know, you might be running around with your friends and not necessarily acting ladylike, so I get it. But the days that you want to wear a dress, you should be able to wear a dress, and you should be able to look like a little girl, and you know, I don't know. So...
Yeah, because, you know, in the Caribbean, the girls have to wear uniform. Everybody have to wear uniform, but girls always wear a dress. Mm-hmm. It's either a dress or skirt.
And I'm thinking when my girls were in the parochial school, they didn't have pants at all. It was like a jumpsuit, a skirt. Yeah. Or they could wear, they had the skirts. Yes. So it was a skirt with the shorts in between, but it was, you know, it still had the look of a skirt. It had a very feminine look to it. And I'm thinking in parochial school, they didn't have any pants at all. That's all it was. I guess, which is how my girls got used to always wearing dresses all the time, because that's pretty much all they wore. And if the schools, I think, did that, that wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Right.
And even let the skirts be skirts.
Exactly.
Mandate that the girls wear skirts.
That's true.
And then be on your P's and Q's and watch the daggone kids. How about that? How about watch them?
True.
How about keep tabs when someone takes the pass to go to the restroom and they're gone 5 minutes? 5 minutes is enough to go pee, come back. If you've gone 10, 15 minutes, you know he's somewhere other than where he's supposed to be. So if she's gone more than 15 minutes, she's somewhere other than where she's supposed to be.
Exactly.
But now the other thing they're doing with the ID cards, the student ID cards they're giving the kids, because you know they have to take a picture. It's digitized. It goes into the computer. Right. You know, the information is forwarded. The student database information is forwarded to the government, to the state, and then to the federal government.
Oh wow.
Yes, all their demographics are forwarded. That's how they get their funding, so to speak. So the federal, they get paid for each child they have enrolled. Well, when the enrollment information is sent out, it's not just a name and a social security number. It's a name, it's an address, social security number, it's their nationality, it's the primary language spoken in their home, their address, the parents' information, emergency contact information, medical, all that. It's a lot of stuff that's forwarded to the state. Right. And then it's forwarded on to the federal government. So, gosh, where was I going with that? I forgot where I was going with that. I done lost my train of thought with that. But bottom line, pretty much there's no... Back to just the individuality. Back to the individuality. You lose your privacy in that case. And you lose your ability to be independent, to be a free thinker. And they give you all these ID cards, got your pictures, all that, forward that information to the state, and they track what you're doing. Real time. Those ID cards that the kids are getting, they have trackers in them. So they're tracking real time where those kids are, not just on campus, but off campus. When the kids leave school, those ID cards are tracking everywhere they go. Wow. And what happens? So now you've just lost your ability to be private, to go to your boyfriend's house. But on the good side, why the hell they can't track that while you're in there going to school? Right. Why they can't track it? I think one of the justifications for why that school board, it's a district in Texas actually that passed it, somewhere close to Dallas, I want to say Austin, somewhere close to Austin, that first started it, and big news about it. the kids, there was a high truancy rate. So they needed to be able to track the kids so they can get them. And then we talked before
Yes,
about being
yes.
mandated to go to their schools. Well,
Right.
kids are mandated to go to the school. Now you've got these little ID cards. They're supposedly ID cards, supposedly to verify who all's in the building and stuff. No, it's to track you.
So they can know where
So they can know where you are.
24/7.
And then when school is over at 3 o'clock, that ID card doesn't turn off.
Wow.
It stays on. So when you go to the dry cleaners and you go to Kroger and you stop by grandma's house and cousin
Everywhere.
Sue's house, everywhere you go is keeping tabs on everything you do. And then by the time you make it home at night, it knows what time you went home.
Wow.
It knows which room in your house that you know that ID card is in. Because if you keep it on you,
Right.
oh, and they put them on lanyards, so the kids are hanging them
Right.
around their neck.
Right.
What does that do? That conditions you to be identified by this label, this thing. It's on your neck, so it's a label. You're not seen as a person anymore. You're seen as that number, that
Right.
ID card.
Wow.
That's on you. You walk around with it all the time. That's the problem with public schools, or even private schools, charter schools, to that matter, because
Yeah,
it's
because
getting to
they
them
get-
as well.
yeah.
Those are some of my
Wow.
problems with the schools.
Wow.
Because they're getting the kids and the parents. Gosh, wow, you're so busy working to pay for that house that you really shouldn't have bought anyway.
True.
Because, yeah, you have 4 kids, but Joe and Catherine Jackson had how many kids and how many
Look how
bedrooms?
much they had, and what
Okay.
it was like 2
I think they had, what, 2 or 3 bedrooms?
bedrooms?
Right, yeah. For all them kids they had. And we carrying on, we have 2 or 3 kids and we have to have a minimum of 4-bedroom
Yes.
house.
But listen, when we were growing up, and me and my sister and my brother, we had 2 beds, 2 double beds in
the same
one
room. Mhm.
And my 2 brothers sleeping in one bed, and me and my sister, and we were comfortable. Trust me, my mom was in the other room, but listen, we were comfortable with it. We wasn't needed for anything. We were happy, and I just, I don't know, this is so different, the things that we get caught up into. And okay, for instance, me and Lance live in this house. Okay, we're not satisfied with this house. We see this other community built up with all these big houses. These houses are $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Now we go and we say, okay, we're gonna put this house in the market, and we're gonna get one of those houses. Can't even afford the darn house, but you take yourself and go get this house. Next thing you know, a couple of years down, you lose the house. So for instance, one day you lose your job because you're just working to pay that mortgage, or they can pay it now. Remember, even if you don't have a car payment, you have car insurance, you have gas, you have food, you have light, you have water, and all the other little stuff that you need. Food is very expensive. And when you think about those things and you take yourself out of this situation and put yourself in a bigger situation where you know you can't handle it, and now you're under pressure, you're stressed, you're going through all this thing. Now your blood pressure shoot up so high. Now next thing you know, you're diabetic because you're running, you're all day long, you're running, you're doing all this stuff, so you don't have time to take care of yourself. And the stress, it's not even sometimes about the eating. I think what's wrong with us, why we get all these things that they say we have anyway, with like the diabetes and whatever. I think it comes from all the stress that we're going through, and we put ourselves through all this stuff because we run in here and there just to make ends meet and just to try to pay this mortgage because we want to live in a different neighborhood where, I don't want to live in this neighborhood anymore. It's too much of us live in this neighborhood. I want to go mix with somebody else. I want to go into a gated community where it's nicer and I have a pool there and I have all this. Can't even manage it. Can't even take care of the pool, whatever. You can't clean it yourself because you don't know what to do. You can't afford to pay somebody to come and clean. Now the pool is turning green. You can't afford to pay the mortgage. You miss your payment, and then you have to double up the next month. You can't afford it. The next thing you know, you're losing this place. And when you have the place where you were comfortable in there, you could afford that mortgage, but you want to put yourself into a bigger situation and cause all kind of problems.
Because you're keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes.
Or somebody at your church just bought a new house. That pastor just got a new house, so we need to get a new house. It's so and so got this, and we need to get.
Exactly. Just like if I see you go out there and you go and you buy. I see you driving a Bentley now. And I say, ooh, she have a Bentley. Where the hell she get money from to buy a Bentley? Which is none of my darn business in the first place.
I could have stood on a pole and got my money and paid cash. You never know.
None of my business. But true, because my eyes are red for what you have, and I don't know how you get it. But I'm going to find myself at the Benz dealership or the BMW or wherever and say, I got to drive a luxury car. I got to get rid of the car that I have. And I have to put myself out there. I have to see. Somebody have to see me. The neighbors have to see me driving and backing out my garage in this car. You know, these are the things that we need to look at ourselves and the things that we are doing. You have some of these other people. You see them, they don't, sometimes they don't even care about those things.
Right.
What we're running for, they're running away from it. You understand? They keep their money. They make sure their money stay in their family. But we take all of our money and throw it out there and do all kind of things with it, and then we don't have nothing. You know, and in the first place, we're not trying to get together and like 10 of us say, okay, we're going to get together, and this is we sit down and we have a meeting. This is what we're planning to do. And I said, okay, I can afford to put $200 a month down, and you put $200. We're gonna put this together. 6 months. We get up a certain amount of money, and this is the business we're going to go into, whether it's a restaurant, whatever it may be. So we're going to invest this money so we don't have to borrow no money from nobody. You know, so we're going to start. I see people say they have $100 and they start their little business. So why can't we do this for ourselves? That's what they do. Even if they have to thief it from us, they don't care. I'm not even going to say steal it. If they have to thief it from us, they'll thief it from us. And they'll do what they have to do.
Exactly.
And then they keep thieving more from us because we're going to come and buy from them. Exactly. So why can't we do it for ourselves? You know, why can't 20 of us then or 100 of us get together and we're going to start something?
Right.
And we're going to be honest with each other. We're going to do each other right. Why can't we do that?
Now, you just said that. Not even if we don't go to the point of purchasing an island, if it means just establishing different businesses. A manufacturing something, a soap, a toilet paper,
or toothpaste, or whatever
it
may be.
If it means, because that's how the Vietnamese, the Chinese, the Asians
Koreans
tend to do. They all pour. They put into. They kind of have like a round table, if you will, and they all pour a certain amount of money into that one pool, one pot, if you will. And they take turns as to whose turn it is to receive all of that money to start their business. So they've been doing this for the longest. So for example, we have a table that's 4 people. If 4 of us all pour into, and let's say we did it for a whole year, we pour, and we each wind up putting in, let's say $1,000 a month, roughly. Right. So that's 4. That's right at $12,000 times 4. That's $48,000 at the end of the year. Yes. So if it's your turn, so that $48,000 you take to start your business, and then you're still pouring in, and then the next at the end of the next year we're all still pouring in, and then it's my turn, and then it's that one's turn, and we just keep going around, and by then we're establishing businesses. At the same time, all of us are purchasing from you. So if your business is toilet paper, so now we're buying all of our toilet paper products from you,
because the money going back right in
there, it's coming right back.
Yes.
And we can keep doing that and keep doing it. I'm liking that. I'm liking the sound of that. So we can start like a little investment club or something, and pour the money in. Whoever's in on board, have the appropriate paperwork drawn up, of course.
Right.
And let that rotate around to whomever, and whatever their business structures are. But we'd have to obviously have something in place to where they would be held accountable.
Exactly.
Because you can't just be in for 6 months and then as soon as it's your turn get the money and come out and don't pay back into.
We all have to pay back into it.
Yeah.
And that's where the paperwork and everything come in, where you sign and whatever, you know.
Have it structured up the right way, such that if they try to skip out, then that would give the investment club some sort of equity in
Yes.
whatever business that they're
They
doing.
have, yeah.
So when they
So
pull
we
their
just
money out
take
for
over
their
that.
toilet
We
paper
just
business,
take over that business.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you know, this is so much that we can do, and it's a lot to think about. You know, what we can do. It's so much, but you know, a lot of things that we really would want to do is not to discuss, to put out there and
right
out there.
This
like
is just
that.
brainstorming. We're not
this-
going to discuss any real details
and,
of anything.
yeah, because whatever, it's so many ideas that I have of things, and you know what we can do, but it's not to put up because we don't really want for these people out there stealing
know.
our ideas.
What we're doing.
Yeah, so we need to, you know, do these things and put it together, sit down and talk about it, and you know, get these things together, because they do it. Why can't we? They're taking all of our money. Why can't we do it? And we all get our money together, and we all paying each other, and we all making our own money, and stop supporting these people because they're not supporting us. So we need to support each other. You know, we need to put all our money together and support each other, because all we do, we taking our money and supporting them.
Exactly.
And they get richer and richer, and their children get rich, and their grandchildren and their great grandchildren. But still, we still don't have nothing at the end of the day, because we taking all of our money, and we spend more money more than anybody else. Who's
Yes.
spending all the money? We spending all the money.
And we're spending it somewhere away from
expensive
home.
stuff. Yes. So we need to put it in our own community. We need to build our own community for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and the ones that come after.
I was just looking the other day when I went out. I told you I went out and I went, Hiawassee Road, I went to the left
Yes.
instead of to the right, and there was that Winn-Dixie.
Right.
That's vacant.
Yes.
What's the need in this neighborhood? Why the people here can't get together? And because that's just an empty building, and they're going to be paying taxes on that building
Right.
for it to sit there and do nothing.
Exactly.
So I'm sure that you could negotiate some pricing, whatever, for them, or let them donate. They always want to donate. Let them donate the building. And then you never own it, but at
Right.
least if they donate it, you can use it for 99 years or
Yes.
something like that for free, and make it you can partition it out.
Exactly.
And make it a multi-family, like homeless, transitional housing or
Yes.
something. Have a central eating area, and because it's a grocery store, so it's big.
Right.
Section off an eating area where they can come in and get their breakfast and stuff. And you can sell some products or whatever. Some people can work there as far as keeping the floors clean, the bathrooms, stuff like that. That could be their job, and they actually get paid. You can get funding for it, obviously from the federal government, because you know it would be a nonprofit. But then you have all the people in this area,
Right, in this
who
area.
are who need housing, who are in transitional. If it means just doing rooms that have maybe 2 double bunk beds or
Right,
something like
right,
that,
right.
so you could allow the family to be in the room together,
yeah.
instead of, because I do remember working with some families when they had to go into shelters and things like
Right.
that. Well, you could only take the daughters, you couldn't have room for the boys and stuff like that. Well, if a mother is needing to go into housing, or a mother and father, because
Right.
their house could have burned down and
Right.
they need a place to stay. So it could be both parents in there, and they have a son. They're supposed to tell their son, go stay on the street or go live with a friend,
Right.
while we go with the girls to some place. No. If you're
All
going to
of
have
them can,
traditional
yeah.
housing, have a room, just like a hotel room
Yes.
kind of thing. You
Yeah.
have a private bath or whatever,
Yes.
but just maybe put double bunk
Double
beds or
bunk
something.
for the kids and
So you
yeah.
have boys could sleep in one bed,
Yes.
the girls could sleep, and the parents could sleep.
Yes.
Or if it's just one parent, then
Yes.
some kids could be in the bed with the other parent. But at least a room that a minimum of 6 people could
Right.
sleep. I'm assuming
True. That's
2
true.
parents and 4 kids. Beyond that, then you might want to look at some of the structures and stuff like that. But you got that building right down there, and when I was down there, I'm looking at it, and I don't know if I did a video on it, because I'm like, gosh, the lines are like freshly painted
Right,
lines.
right.
I don't know how new the store is,
Yeah.
but I'm like, they put this thing here, tore down the trees, tore up the grass, put all this daggone concrete and tar here. Pretty fresh lines, so this thing is not old
Yeah,
at all.
the store's
I
been
didn't
there
see
for a
any
little while,
grass
yeah.
growing
Right.
in the concrete or anything. None of that.
Right.
It's fairly new.
Right.
But it's shut down. I'm like, wow, this is what they
Yes.
do. So as I sat there, as I did the video, and then I sat there and I looked at it, and I'm just thinking, just greed and waste, really. And it didn't work out because obviously then I don't see any people moving from out.
Right.
People still live here. So
Right.
what happens is they weren't getting the money they thought they were going to make.
Exactly.
So now they shut the store down. So now you have that much less acreage, because when it rains, the rain needs dirt to go
Yes.
into, so that the water doesn't come get in your backyard or flood into your house. It needs to go into the ground
yes.
and, you know, kind of go through that whole process. So they've upset a portion of the process for their greed. They didn't make the money, and they left this ugly building just sitting
there when you could have trees there that growing
and give you back
because-
your oxygen
yes.
and stuff.
Because we don't have enough trees, and people are going to start getting really sick because they're cutting down all the trees.
They're cutting down trees there. They know what they're doing, cutting them trees down.
That's wherever you live. If you have a little yard, whatever, it's good to plant back
as many trees as you
Yeah.
can there, and even in like here, you in this patio back here,
Right.
whatever you can have there. I remember at one point I used to have a green thumb. I don't know what happened, but it lost its color.
Oh, wow.
But I would have like my whole living room just from one wall to the next.
With
They
plants.
grew beautifully,
Right,
beautifully. But that sustained our oxygen
Yes,
in the house.
yes.
I didn't have to worry about air filters and all of that because we had enough plants in the
In
home
the
to make
home,
sure we had
yeah.
oxygen coming back in, you know,
Exactly.
nicely. So, but yeah, that place down there, not too far from here, that would be, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, so what can we do with this? We can transitional housing. Because I remember going that way and I saw some people kind of look like they might have needed somewhere to
Right.
stay and stuff. I'm like, okay, so there is a homeless issue in this area.
Yes.
So give them transitional housing
Yeah.
and let them work. They may not actually get paid, but they can work for their keep.
Right.
By helping in the kitchen, by helping get the floors swept and mopped, by
Right.
helping with the bathroom, by, you know, just in whatever
Yes.
maintenance needs to be done to keep the building, you know, functioning and
Yes.
stuff.
The guys didn't go there if it need painting and you paint, they can have paint, whatever, you know. There's stuff that if it's grass to cut, you cut the grass.
So anybody listening in the
Yes.
Pine Hills, Florida area,
Yes.
if you have a heart, if your heart gives you the desire to work with homeless or transitional population, there is a building. I'm sure there are a bunch more. I just happen to
that's
stumble
an I
across
was
that
in
one.
Clare Corner.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Clare Corner, the Winn-Dixie that was there closed down, yeah.
Grab it up and get some partitions done. Put in a couple restrooms. You know the plumbing is there. It was a grocery store, so there's plumbing there. There's electricity there. I'm sure it's turned off, but you know
Yeah.
all that wiring is there. And Winn-Dixie, they used to have even like in the fresh food section in the back, and I'm sure there was a little deli part too.
Right,
so
right.
there's enough running water plugged up under that
Right.
building somewhere to where you guys could
Can
make
do
it work.
separate bathrooms and stuff like that. So, you know, when you have a parent, they can have their own little private bathroom with their family, you know. You
And it doesn't have to be some lavish
Right.
jacuzzi tub. It could be a
Right.
regular old bathtub, and it doesn't even have to be a full-size tub.
Right.
Just
Or
if
just
it's
a
just
shower.
enough.
Or just a shower.
And I think you need a little bit more than a shower because kids don't really take
Oh, yeah,
showers. You know,
true,
if you
yeah.
got a 3-year-old,
True, yeah.
they
True,
need
but-
some. You know, they get
True.
dirty. Them jokers need some.
You need to get some water in the tub and
But the
wash
mobile
them
homes,
twice.
the
Yeah.
RVs, they're showered bathtubs.
Small.
It's like a very small
Yeah,
bathtub. It's
really
almost like
small.
a baby bathtub.
Yeah, I see
So-
those. Like a pan, like about this size.
Exactly, and which is perfect for the
Yeah.
kids, so they could put those in their transitional housing.
Right.
A shower that has a small enough bathtub so that
Right.
you know if there were children, you could create a bath
Right.
for them.
Have one sink and a toilet.
A sink, a
whatever.
toilet, and,
Yeah.
and the little bunk beds,
Right.
and maybe I'm thinking some kind of something to hold their clothing.
Right.
Doesn't have to be full-fledged dresses and closets and all of
Right.
that, but something to hold their clothing.
Exactly.
And let them be in there and do the thing. And that's not just here, but that's there because you got Walmart's closing down, you have Winn-Dixie's closing down, you have all these other stores closing down, vacant strip malls, all strip malls that used to be populated at
Right.
one point. With this, all this stuff is just sitting
Sitting there,
Turn
yeah.
those things into transitional housing, into medical clinics, into, educational places, where people could go in, and it might be,
Right.
if I had the funds, and one room might be for spirituality, the next room might be for astronomy,
Right.
the next room might be for, I don't know, jewelry making, another room, and these are all, I'm thinking of like maybe an old mall
Right.
that's shut down, that's
Right.
now defunct. So you take all these old stores and you turn them into
Right.
classrooms. Each store is a classroom
True.
with a different content. And whoever the teachers are, of course, you have to work out the logistics of all of that. But that's doable.
Right.
It's very doable.
And where they have grassy area, if they have a grassy area in the back area, you can even grow a garden back there.
And if they don't, here's
Yeah.
the thing: if they don't have a grassy
Yeah.
area, you can just have an elevated garden.
Yes. Just
you
use
can
the box,
actually purchase.
Just use the boxes and do
All you have to do
all
is
your
get it up off the
vegetables and
ground,
your
yes.
tomatoes, all your greens and all that stuff in there, and they can learn to do it.
And some of them have skylights in the
Right.
middle.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So and a lot of them actually had plants and kind of the evergreen
Yes.
type plants. Well, then you can use, that means there's something inside that allows for growing.
Right.
It can have indoor gardens as well.
It's true. Yeah, true.
Do that. See. Now
So
what
much.
happens in us? We just sitting here just off the top of our head, just rambling. Imagine if people actually were sitting down with a notebook and a paper
yeah.
with intent to come up with some ideas. What the ideas they could come up with, and imagine if they actually tried to act on those ideas.
I'm telling you.
Y'all, we just might be dynamite.
Yeah, there's so much we can do. There's so much that we can do, and we really, a lot of times I think we are afraid to take the first step because we are just afraid that we are not going to be successful in this. So then we don't want to take, we just don't want to move.
Well, I'll tell y'all, I started several businesses in my lifetime, and I'm running almost none of them. I say almost none, yeah. And so in that regard, they're not successful because I'm not still running them now.
Right.
But I can say they were successful when I was running them
Right.
until it got to a certain point. And that's something you're just going to have to deal with.
Right.
You have to try. Not everything is going to be successful. And not every failure is a failure because of you or because of something. You might have had a good product. You might have great marketing. You might have everything, all your ducks in a row. But if the timing is wrong, then, or if, what we got going on today, you have people who very clearly are hell-bent and determined to stop your progress.
True.
So if you've got a leech latched onto you some kind of way, hell-bent, determined to
Yes.
stop your progress, you can have all of the everything in order the way it's supposed to be, but they're going to come behind you, damn demon, every move you make and counter, they're going to counter move everything you do. So keep those things in mind, but that doesn't mean you stop.
Right.
That does not mean you stop. That means you have to keep going. You may not be able to keep going to the same level or the same degree that you did before, but you keep going. As long as you keep on moving, you're making progress. You're not standing where you were.
Right.
Even if it's a quarter of an inch movement, you've made progress. That's some sort of movement. And I think that's, if we kept our minds on that, the fact that we've made progress, doesn't matter how much, but we've made some sort of
Right.
progress, then we don't fall into the trap of, oh, I'm scared, nothing's going to happen, and I've been wanting to do this for 5 years and nothing has happened, and I haven't made progress, and just keep going. You just keep going. I think people, we miss the whole point when folks say keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep at it, don't
Yes.
stop. And it'll knock you down today, it'll knock you down tomorrow.
Right.
The third day you might be laying in there crying in a fetal position like a baby, you're tired of being knocked down. But that fourth day you get your behind up and you try again.
Yes.
That's just how you do it. And you get knocked down and get your behind
Get
up and try again.
And keep it going.
Yeah.
Yes. There's so much that we really can do, and we really need to look into, these things and just try and start, something, try to get together and do these things.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to start getting together and hope that somebody, will listen and just say, this is something that we really need to do together. This is something that maybe 20 of us need to sit down together and as you say, put our money in this pot and but you know, we all have to sign papers and
Right.
get stuff together and
Appropriate legal
Yes.
documents, yes, because I ain't putting no money
Yes.
nowhere where you subject to run off with
Run
it. I
off
did
with
that
it.
too many years in the
Yes.
church.
Exactly, right?
Yep, too
Yes,
many years.
Too many years. All that money that we paying, that 10% and more. If we
And
were,
those special offerings,
Yes.
the birthday offerings, the
yes,
anniversary
the
offerings,
offering
the
and
this and the
the
building
visitors
offerings.
day offering. If we-
Benevolence
Yeah,
and,
if we were putting this in a pot and getting together, you know, how much we would doing our own thing. We would all be doing our own thing instead of somebody else taking all of our money. We'd be all doing our own thing, and we would be making progress. And our children then would be doing much better. We'd have more of our kids off the street.
And actually, they probably, I think so many people wouldn't be as upset with the church and how
True,
much money
yeah.
they've taken if there were programs and things put in place
Yes.
for us. If we actually had some real assistance with people fixing credit, like Hope was saying the other day,
Right.
fixing the credit,
Yes.
with financial planning, with making sound investments or how to invest,
Right.
and some recommendations with homeschooling our kids,
Kids, yeah.
with the truth about about history and the education system and the fact that it really is designed as well to indoctrinate your children with a prescribed order of things instead of teaching them to develop and tap into their creative sides. Programming for drug addicts, for getting clean
True.
from various drug addictions, I mean, any addiction for that matter, because it could just be a gambling addiction.
Right,
it could be,
right.
you know, some people eat chalk.
Right.
Just like we were talking the chalk
Yes.
for the starch and stuff. Some people just eat that. That's their
Right,
addiction.
right.
So whatever the addiction might be,
Or if they have a drinking problem or whatever, wherever you can help.
spousal
you know?
abuse.
Yes.
If you've got an anger problem,
Yes.
what about if money was put in place by some of these churches to help men and women deal with their issues?
Yes.
Those issues we talked about, the
Yes.
ones that women now, women are oh, my daddy was in there. I got daddy issues. I got daddy issues. Some of them are using it as a crutch
Yes.
now. But yeah, so you have the women that have the daddy issues. You have the rejection, the abandonment, everything that goes, because that's a whole big old umbrella that, you know, falls with that. But the guys have daddy issues
Yes.
too, or mama issues, and they're not acknowledging that. They're running around macho because, you know, somebody told them, suck it up, be a man,
Right, right.
handle it.
Exactly.
And you come through, and next thing you know, you got anger that's being manifested in you beating up on your woman,
Right.
or slapping up your kids in manners, the ways that you shouldn't,
Yes.
because that anger is coming out. That's that anger from the fact that your dad walked away and left you,
Yes.
and your mom and, you know, 4 brothers or whatever the case may
True.
be. Y'all sitting here struggling, didn't have what you needed, and your dad going on about his business.
Right.
And you couldn't say anything because you're a boy, you're a man, you're
Yes.
supposed to suck it up and keep
Yes.
going, but you have all this anger, and it just keeps going and going and going until
And
it starts.
keep following you all for the rest of your life. Because, and then, you know, as we were talking earlier about that situation, that a lot of us, even as female, we don't look on our brothers them like they go through things just like how we go through
Right.
things. And we just look on them like they this tough person, so they, as you say, suck it up, whatever, they have to take it and just keep it moving.
Right.
But they need help just like how we need help. They need love just like how we need love. And we have to work with them and help them to get through this. And unless we, as a mother, a sister, a niece or a cousin or whatever we may be, a grandmother, unless we step up to the plate and start recognizing this and helping, it's not going to get done. Because we have to do something, because then you have to look at it. A lot of these guys don't even want to really talk to anybody, but sometimes when they can find a person like you or I or somebody else that is saying the same thing, they feel good. They feel like they can sit down and have a conversation with you and talk about it and tell you what's been going on. This is what's been going on with me from I was like maybe 8 years old or even 7 years old, but I never talked to anyone about it. And I feel so good talking to you about it, because you listen to what I have to say. And now I even feel like I take off 10 pounds of weight
Right.
that was I was carrying around all these years. And I can go home tonight and get a good night's sleep, because now I'm feeling much better. You know, but a lot of times we ignore stuff and we don't pay attention to these things. And even with our children, if we have boys or even the girls,
right.
and we don't, follow up with these things and find out what's going on with them, what happened today at school, what happened at this place where you were with your friends or whatever, and let they learn to trust us, that they can come and talk to us about anything. So that's where we come in, because a lot of times when we were growing up, most of our parents, they didn't listen to nothing that we have to say, and sometimes they think you're lying about
right.
things, so you'll get run away sometimes. I don't want to hear it. Go sit down someplace, whatever. But this is where we come in now, because we know better and we need to have better relationship
right.
with our children and even our grandchildren. Because if they come to us and say, Grandma or Mom, can I see to you about, so I need to talk to you, we need to take that time to sit down and have that kind of conversation. And just like it could be a grown man, it could be 50 years old, 40 years old, whatever. And even if you are younger, I am younger, and they want to have a conversation with you or we should be able to sit down
right.
and have that kind of conversation and make they feel comfortable. And we listen to what they have to say. Because we never know what's going on. You don't know what's going on with me, I don't know what's going on with you, but we should be able to trust each other, where I can come to you and sit down and have a conversation with you and say, I feel this burden on me, I feel so stressed, this thing is going on, I feel like it's going to take my life if I don't talk to somebody. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes we really have to take that moment to start listening to our brothers or sisters or nieces or nephew or whoever it may be, or kids, just sit down and have a conversation. Maybe a total stranger that needs to talk to us and have this conversation with us, and we need to start listening, because it's not, as I said, and we discussed this earlier, it's not only you and I as a female having these issues. It's so much of the male is having the sometimes worse than even us, and you don't even know that.
And he won't discuss it. He won't tell you. All you know is you see some anger in him, or you see something, and it's you might just be sitting there waiting. A lot of women marry men, and they never get 100% of their husbands,
right.
because he's still somewhere
right.
in his childhood.
True.
Life has told him, no, don't tell, you're a man, suck it up.
Right.
Life has said, no, you can't share that, you have to keep this to yourself. Suppose he was raped
right.
by somebody. Suppose he watched his mother be raped,
right.
or his sister, or watched his mother be beat. Whatever it was that traumatized him, or put him in such a place of hurt. And it could just be that daddy
right.
walked out. Daddy went to get bread and never came back.
Yeah, true.
Whatever his area of being stuck, that takes him back to being that little
right.
boy, he probably sits there and wants to say it, but he doesn't know how.
True.
How many men would be willing to bawl like a baby, like us women,
right.
bawl and say, I am so weak, I'm brought to my knees with this situation,
right.
but here it is.
Right, right.
And believe that their wives or their women are still going to love and respect them the same when they're finished
right.
bawling. Most of the guys don't even think, once they see me bawling and get weak and just break down, they'll never respect me as the man again. And
right. But that's
guys got to get rid of that,
yes.
because if she's a real woman, first of all, if you marry some little skank or something, she ain't a real woman, then no, you're wasting your time. But if you married a real woman, she gonna stand with you. As a matter of fact, she gonna go there with
yes.
you when you get down in that fetal position.
Yes.
She cry. She gonna hug right on up with you
yeah.
and get in fetal position and cry with you.
True.
Until you get past that
yes.
stage, and she gonna roll with you every step
yes.
of the way.
True. And it's best to be honest, just because I think that's love right there. Because I think when I start talking about my situation to you, and you start talking about your situation with me, we have this kind of bond that we get so much closer.
Right.
And I think I think a lot of guys, when they start having this conversation, whether it's with their wife or they find somebody else that they can talk to about this situation, I think they feel better. It's a whole different thing. And it's like, when you start doing that, it's like it takes off like 20 years off of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a whole different feeling. I mean, you can smile more. That happiness is on you. Everybody can see it. You go out in the street, you go to work, you can see, you know, something is different. You know, this person is
you can't quite pinpoint it, but they're glowing a little bit. Yeah, that's,
it's a different situation. So we really have to talk about that, because a lot of the guys, they don't really think that, you know, we as a female will really listen to what is going on with them. You know, and as you say, if they break down and cry and whatever, they're going to think that they are less than a man, whatever, you know.
Well, I say that to all the guys that are listening. The women in your life, your boo or whatever she is to you, if you can't be honest with her about all of those hang-ups that you don't really want her to know about, but she needs to know if she's going to build with you and connect at that deep level, you might be looking at the wrong one, dude. Because you should be able to just be free. Free totally with your partner. And vice versa, them to you as well. Because once you're together, once you copulate, you become one, right? So if you're becoming one, then don't you have to share that stuff? So they know where you are? And because she's sure going to share it to you. As soon as you give her an ear, she's going to share to you all of the, because we women, we've been taught to do that. We've been taught to share it. Don't hold it, don't hold it, don't hold it.
Because you can't, you feel guilty if you don't say something. Even when you say, oh, I'm not going to say nothing, you end up, you have to say something.
You wind up saying something. It's almost as if we have to explain why we are missing the mark in some areas. You know, why we are not quite up to par the way we should be, because, you know, I'm this week I'm dealing with, you know, the past rape or whatever it is, and that's just been weighing on my mind. So then you've got to deal with that, tell the people whatever it is. So that's why I'm a little off this week, because I've been a little depressed about that. We have to have an excuse. We have to have a reason for doing the stuff that we're doing, or not doing, for that matter. And the guys, there is no reason. There's nothing behind it. For them, it's just, I am who I am, and that's it. Ain't nothing going on. It's okay. And you keep playing that when they wind up with all that stress and cholesterol and high blood pressures and strokes and heart attacks and all of that stuff. Guys, you bring it on yourself, not just with the food, but with the level of stress that you keep ingesting, because that's energy. And that's negative energy that's being turned into you, and it's tearing you apart.
Everything that is going on in our body is, I think, is from stress, mucus in our body and all that stuff. Even, you know, the guys, they have prostate cancer and all that stuff. It's from stress and mucus in your body. You know, and this is where it comes in, that we have to start taking care of ourselves. We have to get rid of the stress first, and then start taking care of this body.
Stress will kill you. Take that from me. That ain't what I heard. That's what I know. That's what I lived. That's what I almost did not live to see my children grow up from. So stress will kill you. And some people talk about me and how I tend to try to be as laid back as possible. Now that didn't mean I'm laid back, because, you know, us New Yorkers, we can get passionate, we can get into it, all of that hyper and all that. But I try to be as laid back as possible, as people saying stuff with me. And then plus, you know, with me being a mentor, a lot of people come to me with their stuff. And so I have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, which means I'm listening more than I'm talking. Learn to listen and digest the stuff before I just go right on in with them, you know, on it. Because as soon as you allow yourself to turn up that level of stress, every time a situation comes at you, like you heard me earlier when this one was on the phone, I was on and she was just trying to get a little flippant, and I may have to go home and remind her of a few things. But I'm saying, okay, so this is what I'm thinking. And so in the meantime, what are y'all, I'm trying to remain as calm and whatever with her. That's because life taught me, you allow too much stress to get to you, it will have you flat out on your back.
Yes, it's true.
Flat out on your back, dead or close to dead. So, no. I try to be as mindful as possible. And then I'm one of those people that I can feel the stress. literally feel it in my body.
Oh God!
And I'm not talking just being tired and fatigued, but I mean physically hurt.
You can feel it that you can't even close your eyes at night. You can feel it. Yeah. So we just really have to tell our brothers, that regardless of what, we are here for them in whatever way that we can help them. Whatever we can do, and as wife or girlfriend or whoever we are to them, whether we are their mom, their sister, whoever, we're here for you guys, and we love you all, and we just wanna help you all. So if whatever is going on, make sure you talk about it and get it out. Just
That's
talk
the only way
about
you're going to heal.
And we all have to work together as sisters the same way.
Respect your men. Respect your men. And just because he has issues, just as you do, as we all do, doesn't mean he's due any less respect.
Right.
It may mean that you have to recognize that he may not present in a manly manner,
right?
Because he's in breakdown mode.
Right.
He's entitled to be in breakdown mode, to deal with whatever he's got to deal with, so he can step back up and be that warrior prince that you're looking for.
Oh yeah.
And so nothing lasts forever. No one stays the same 100% of the time. We kind of alternate in and out of different roles. And so, if you're expecting your guys to be 100% warrior all the time, sadly mistaken, because he can't be.
Exactly.
There's going to be times when you're going to be 100% princess warrior while he's laid down. And you just finished experiencing this with Lance being down. The warrior, the prince had to be down, and now the roles flip for a minute. That's just the way it goes.
You have to be there when it comes. You can't just back out of it. You have to do what you have to do. That's where it all comes in. But I guess we're gonna
we wind it down. Did we have anything we wanted to say specifically? I don't know. Did we? Because we've just been running our mouths here. We've been here all day, actually. Not all day, but we've been at this table a few hours at least, just chit chatting.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, if I had something structured I'd want to say to people, I'm just back to the healing. Get your healing. Say what you got to say. Find whoever your therapist is, whether your therapist is your wife, an actual therapist, a mentor. Be careful about the doctors that you see that are on insurance plans. Talk to me offline, and I'll tell you about how to kind of make sure you maintain your privacy with that. But I think everyone has to have some version of a therapist so they can talk about their stuff, get their stuff out, get rid of that excess baggage, reclaim that energy, turn around and make it work for you and use it in a better way, a positive way. That's male and female. Start healing those broken relationships that you have, whether it's, long lost parent that ran away from you when you were 5 or something, whether it's a sibling that you guys had a fight 20 years ago and you've never spoken since then. Whoever it is, heal those relationships. Reach out to those people. You don't have to fix it overnight, but you can just reach out and say hello and hang up, and that's it.
Right.
Reach out and say I love you, hang up, and that's it. Send an email, I love you, I miss you, hang up, and that's it. And let time continue to work on both of you all, so that you get to a point where you can get to a healing, reclaim your energy, because we weren't meant to be here fighting each other. That is not us. That is not our way. That was dumped on us, and we took it, and now we need to figure out how to throw it back off of us. We were not put here to be fighting each other the way we are.
True.
So that's my spill.
I guess that's it for the day. We just
thank you.
Wrapping it down.
Exactly what's happening in the conversation. I can
You can
hear
feel
it come
us
down.
winding down.
Yeah.
The whole conversation so well.
We're wrapping it down.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LanceScurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under Lance Scurv.